This week's podcast was recorded prior to the regular season finale between Virginia Tech and UVA, in which Liz Kitley suffered a lower extremity injury. While we don't know the status of her injury, we do wish her all the best, and we encourage you to follow us at E10 Sports and A. Brooke Leonard for all the latest. Yeah, getting used to that sound nowadays, right?
It's only good when you go, yeah.
Really? What? Me? Little old me? No, I think it'd be better if you do that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
Just got to drag it out a little bit. Get that Botetourt County out, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and there we go.
I think we might need some more music. I like it. It is funky because I do like funky music, but I just don't know if it fits the vibe.
I feel like for some episodes it does. It definitely fits the vibe, but it just depends on what's really going on. So it just depends, you know?
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's fine. It works.
Yeah, it works. And we work. We're always working, right? Starting to see us more often, hear us more often now, right?
I know Appy just said that all we do is this podcast. And I'm like, we are doing a lot of things, including this podcast, which has consumed a lot of our time this week, for sure.
That's all good, though. You stack them up, and then we release them when we're ready.
I know. Well, that's actually what we had to do because this next month is, I literally had a friend text me last night, and they were like, I miss you so much. I want to see you soon. And I'm like, I have been doing this job for a long time. You know good and well you are not going to see me in March. Why even?
Yeah, I feel like we said this last time too. Just don't plan anything for Brooke Leonard's life in March. It's that simple. And the first 2 weeks of April. Because you need some downtime. So.
Oh, 100. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you remember because I do need to put my vacation time in.
I do remember.
Yeah. Well, because it's just so mentally taxing. I'm like, get me to a beach and let me close my eyes and breathe. That actually, the rejuvenation I had after the crazy March Madness run last year, taking that week off right after when I got back. Thank you again. Oh my gosh. I think I literally went to the beach by myself. My family came the last 3 days because it was Easter. I slept. I did so much sleeping and TV consumption and just breathed and didn't think about anything.
Breathed?
Because it was
you were
crazy.
Breathing before then, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. That was a crazy run you had. So, and who knows? We may be in store for it yet again this year. So.
Yeah, can we talk about something?
What you want to talk about? Okay,
this might have been the most controversial, other than the adults catching the baseball situation. The NCAA tweet, the NCAA Women's March Madness tweet that had great basketball players on there.
It had everybody except somebody and somebody else.
Virginia Tech is 5th in the nation.
Hello.
They just clinched. So it's one thing to be like, okay, say they were highly ranked, but maybe didn't clinch the regular season, or vice versa. They weren't highly ranked, but either way, they won the conference outright.
Yeah.
What? It's just, it blows my mind. And is it because they're just a little mountain school? I don't know. It's hard to access national wise. You got to drive 45 minutes from the nearest airport.
It wasn't that hard for College Game Day.
Right. I just could not believe that. And then I was looking at that graphic and just the comments underneath it. It was all Virginia Tech fans. Y'all left someone off. Do you guys see what you did? Y'all got it coming.
Well, because it looked like it was almost on purpose. When you have two ladies on the same team that are both likely in the conversation to be National Player of the Year.
Liz Kitley, Georgia Amore.
Yeah, Liz Kitley, Georgia Amore. Why would you not include at least one? At least one.
Yeah, I don't think J.C. Sheldon from Ohio State was on the picture, but her teammate was. It doesn't have to be both.
Just some kind of representative. The Hokey Bird. Somebody.
Right? Yeah. Like a mascot. It was just crazy. It was crazy to see. And I'm not saying that, as an alumni, just like as a journalist who tries to do equal coverage of everybody.
Well, and I think a lot of people, just as the casual, women's hoops consumer, saw the glaring, like, omittance of that, basically.
Yeah.
That was like huge. It was almost like something's missing and we know it's missing. Why is it missing?
Right.
So.
Well, and that was kind of the thing last year when the women went on their run, was even when they had the 1 seed, it was like a chip on their shoulder. Like they had to win the ACC tournament to be the 1 seed. Like they
Correct.
were, they were ranked pretty much the whole season, but it was never too high.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Coach Brooks, after they won the Elite Eight, so they won the region,
Right.
In Seattle, he said, "We're not trying to prove anything to anyone. We're just trying to prove ourselves right, not anyone else."
Yeah.
And it's true, because at that point, then now we're in year 2 of like seeing that team have dominance, and they once again, like, it's just disrespect. I mean, truly.
Yeah. No, it definitely is disrespect.
And honestly, it probably was some sweet intern who built that graphic and like just. But then again, I'm like, okay, if I was an intern trying to build that graphic, I would have looked like, okay, who were like the top 15 teams?
True.
And then pull pictures, or who was in the NCAA tournament last.
Right.
I mean, Tech was in the Final Four last year.
Yeah, but even still, all right, intern's fault if that's the case. But who's over the intern?
Right.
Like, come on, somebody had to approve
Somebody
the
had to
final
cut
rendering
it.
of that. Just a lot of unnecessary disrespect. We know how good the Hokies are because we cover them, but also everybody else in the country does as well. So,
well, especially Iowa, LSU, and South Carolina, all those teams who saw the Hokies in the Final Four last year play, including Ohio State and Tennessee, who they saw on the trip there. Like,
right.
I mean, whatever. But anyway, so we're about to embark on that craziness again.
It is here yet again.
Yeah, the Virginia. So we're talking women's college basketball today with a Virginia Tech Hokie, Cayla King, which is awesome. It's crazy to think that I've been here 5 years, and I got here in 2019, and these girls who are about to graduate, Cayla, Liz, got there in 2019.
Yeah. So you're saying the success happened because of your presence?
Well, no, absolutely.
Everything you touch is gold, Brooke Leonard. We know.
To their success on the court, I mean, I'll quit now, but absolutely not.
No, don't quit yet.
Those
We gotta
girls
finish
are
the show.
ballers. To know, I have nothing to do with that. If anything, I maybe pulled them out of their shell a little bit, got them to talk a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. I think you definitely did that during last year's run. I remember you being like, the girls are so quiet. They're real quiet. But when I talk to them, they're ready to talk. So,
yeah, I think like I said, I've been covering them for so long. It's nice when you can walk right up to somebody and they're comfortable, and Cayla, consistent. I knew after every game, like, she was gonna speak smart, speak honest, speak true, and she did. I mean, every time. I think we showed more Cayla. I mean, Liz and Georgia, everyone on that team are great speakers, but
for sure.
Cayla,
For sure.
I knew I could go to and get good stuff.
What I love is, of course, Liz and Georgia. They're considered the queens of the castle, rightly so, for what they do. But Cayla's in that mix too, and I like the fact that Coach reminds us every now and then too. Hey, don't forget about Cayla King. She's part of this deal. She kind of helps us make us go too. So I like that.
It's the same. I mean, her role as a point guard obviously had to shift a little bit when Georgia got there, because Cayla was the main shooter. Her and Shep kind of going back and forth.
Yep.
She did have to kind of shift.
Yeah.
But her clutch ability, I think, is what I also called it in the interview. Even though she's not putting up double figures every single game, you can never count Virginia Tech out because when Cayla King's on the court, because she is always going to pull up and take a shot, and it will go in when they need it. Even if it's not going in the whole time, it goes in when they need it. I mean, she's a great player. She's smart. She plays good defense, and sometimes the box score doesn't show the whole story to players' attributions on the court. But
Yeah, as we found out in the women's game, the box score sometimes doesn't show the plus minus, and apparently we learned after our interview with her plus minus is like one of the best on the team.
Yeah, that's what their SID said.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the exact statistic, but it was when Cayla scores like 9 points or more. I'm not even going to try to butcher it. Basically, when Cayla is shooting well, they are like 21-3. It was something crazy.
It was a wild stat. Their winning percentage was like through the roof.
Yeah, so she's a boss. I really like her game. I mean, watching the Virginia Tech women has been really, really fun the last 4 games that I've gotten to see in person.
Yeah, and if you kind of followed it from the time Kenny Brooks got here, which I believe was, 2016?
Mm-hmm.
So ever since then, it's been like baby steps. Every single year, they've gotten better and better and better. And I don't know, maybe this year they can get back to that spot and then take it another step further, but we shall see.
It's just been incredible. I mean, I was in college when Coach Brooks got here. My best friend Reagan was on the team.
Right.
And I remember, I liked Coach Brooks.
Yeah.
But nobody was coming to the games. And this guy came with a track record of winning at JMU, which was very exciting. But people still weren't coming to the games. And then to see it now, 7 years later, Reagan texted me the other day and was like, I could not believe the crowd for game day. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was great.
And she only played for him for 2 years, but her second year they went to the WNIT championship. She got the little taste of the success that they could have, and the rest of the girls have just, continued to build it. So it's been crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure to see. And again, hopefully we're going to see some more goodness in, this season in particular. See it lead to something even greater.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Real quick, I know this is very Virginia Tech centered, but I was saying who was I talking to yesterday? Oh, I was talking to Carter. UVA women, I think they're a sleeper team. I'm not going to lie. I just feel like the kind of the mismatch, they're getting a couple ranked wins, but then they're losing at home. They're winning on the road, and then they're winning at home, and then they're losing to, I think all of that is the perfect cocktail for an ACC tournament run, which is low-key scary.
It is scary.
For anyone who is playing them, because they have the pieces.
Yep.
It just has been slightly inconsistent of when they're coming together. But I do think, they want it. I think they've come to that consensus. They want it. And they have a great coach, and Coach Mox as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that happening.
Oh, yeah, I can too. And I mean, because you sit right next to my desk, I've been talking them up for, I think, since Coach Mox arrived, because just the pieces she's been able to bring in, these All-American girls, and now they're getting somewhat healthier and they're gelling.
Right, that was the problem in the beginning. Is there were some girls who it was off and on because of injuries, and some would sit, like Cameron Taylor would sit,
Yeah.
But
her injury was a little bit more, serious than what we thought. So, but no, they're balling now,
and I think Sam Brunell is just going to be a force to be reckoned with in her final season.
Yes.
It's just, but this was the same conversation we were having about Virginia Tech 7 years ago too.
Absolutely,
we were going, They are a little inconsistent. They have the talent. They want it.
Yep.
And then Tech goes, that used to be when Tech would start playing in the first day or the second day, and then they play 3 straight. I think that in 2016 was, maybe it was 2017 or spring 2018 was, they made it pretty deep. I want to say maybe the semifinals of the ACC tournament and lost to NC State. That was when everyone was losing to NC State.
I remember 2018. I want to say they reached the semi as well.
I think that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I do remember.
Because that was the year they went to the WNIT tournament. They didn't make the NCAA, but
it was a good trip.
I think this ACC tournament's going to be psychotic nuts. And by the time this drops, it will be Thursday. So Tech will start to play. That'll be their first day. Or no, they play Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
But UVA will probably have played a couple games.
Yes, I would not be shocked if they're still alive by the time you're hearing this. Yeah.
That's just such a wild stretch to can you imagine playing 5 games in a row and making it, well, that's usually why it doesn't happen. Play 5 straight to go to the championship.
But hey, never say never. because the Virginia Tech men a couple years ago in good old Boogie Down Brooklyn. That was a cool trip. And, me and Jeff had to check out every day, and then it was like, oh, actually we got to rebook, and you got to check out, oh, but we got to rebook. It was
that's actually stressing me out.
It was very stressful.
The suitcases
in a big city, and I pack big, right? Like I don't pack so that definitely stressed me out in terms of like, all right, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna make it happen?
Oh heck no!
Get ready, bro.
Yeah, I get ready for. Yeah, I guess it is coming. It's all coming so fast. It's happening so fast.
It's here. It's here.
We thankfully got to talk to Cayla King so we can get our questions answered about women's college basketball, all things coming up. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about how I had some friends listen last week to Coach Pope, and they said we talked for too long in the beginning. And I'm like, this is our silly fun time.
Yeah.
Let us talk. I don't think we were talking that long. It's educational.
What do they want? Would you like to hear like our car conversations or something? Like, because we do have like long road trips.
Right.
So,
yeah. We can just hook it up for an hour 45 to Charlottesville.
Well, come on in and stay a while, folks, But hey, you're tired of hearing me, tired of hearing her. How about you listen to Cayla King then? How about that? Let's get to Cayla King.
My friends who had an opinion, here we go. Let's head to our great, amazing guest, Virginia Tech guard graduate student getting her master's, Cayla King. You got it, Eric.
I got it.
You always welcome us in.
Little old me. Well, welcome back into Foul Check. It's an honor and a pleasure to be doing this on the road yet again. Back to back, right? We're giving everybody what they want in terms of hoops, and we are honored to be joined by one of the greats here, one of the other queens of Castle, as they say here in Blacksburg, Cayla King of the Virginia Tech Women's Program. Cayla.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes,
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Missed opportunity for the fans to say King of Castle. Like, I didn't see.
Ooh,
I get it, like queens, like girl. Like,
but like your last
words, of course.
Your last name is so it's like easy King.
I know.
But it works.
It works.
Talk about that for a second before we get into this. College game day coming to Blacksburg on Sunday. How nuts, insane, crazy was that experience for you?
I mean, you described it nuts, insane. I mean, it was kind of like just another first that we've done here at Virginia Tech. We've done a lot over the last 4 years, but to say college game day came here, I think that's going to be on the top for a while. That's something that's never happened here, first ACC school to do that. So I think we're all really proud of it, and I think it was a great day, a great turnout. The fans were crazy. The game was crazy. So it was just a great day.
I know you weren't surprised by the fans.
No.
Yeah.
Blacksburg is a unique place, so they definitely showed out.
Yeah, it's so cool to see because I know your first year here, and when I was in college, we just missed each other. There was like no one who would come to the games.
Not at all.
Yeah, I remember.
Especially students.
Right, especially students. There would be that one Castle Guard crowd that would sit across from the visitors bench. They wouldn't even sit where the student section is. And Dave Nakel used to tell us to shoot so that it didn't look like there was no one in the crowd, like empty seats. And now it's... You can't not get people in the background.
Now you have an issue with, showing empty seats. As we all saw Sunday, you kept telling me, like, there's not a empty seat in this place. This is incredible. Throughout the whole game, too. That was great.
Yeah, they stay the whole time. They're loud. I think it's probably one of the toughest arenas to play in now. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. How would you say? I know you got to say your home crowd stacks up, but I mean you've been to a lot of crazy places where women's basketball was kind of trending already before it was trending in Blacksburg. How would you say it stacks up to
I think
volume?
Like volume is still number one. Like I don't think that's just because I go here. I think other schools, if you ask them, they would definitely say that too. So
yeah. Crazy. So fun. Well, today we're talking about college basketball, but specifically women's basketball. For those of you who are tuning in the coming days as y'all wrap up your regular season, the ACC tournament, and then the NCAA tournament, so that way people can tune in for a game and kind of understand what's going on. We talked about the definition of basketball last week. It's pretty self-explanatory. You dribble the ball, you shoot, then you go play defense. The person with most points wins, that whole thing. We're going to start this one off with, we're tagging off from last week, talking about the bonus. So the bonus rule is a little bit different. for high school, it was changed this year. Was it changed this year for women as well?
It's been, I think since my freshman year, it's been consistent. I don't know what the high school rule is now, but it's because we play quarters. It's just 5 fouls, 2 shots. There's no 1-and-1. It's been like that since I've been in college.
Okay.
But yeah.
So high school just changed from going team foul 7, you shoot 1-and-1, 10, you shoot 2.
Yeah.
They just changed that this year.
Okay, so yeah, it's been like that for a few years now. But yeah, so it's quarters, fouls reset every quarter. Once it gets to 5, it's just 2 bonus shots. And then, I mean, it's like that for the rest of the quarter. The next quarter resets. But yeah, there's no 1-and-1 in the women's game anymore, which is kind of crazy to think about because it's like, you're always like put yourself in those situations, like you want to make the first, miss the second, but I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but I think I'm used to it now, so.
How do you feel like that changed, like you said, when it comes to making a play at the end of the game, or just like pressure-wise, entertainment-wise of having a 1-and-1?
It takes a little pressure away, but I mean, especially in like the college game like us, like you still have to make 2 foul shots in front of big crowds like we have. I know our fans probably like it because it's more opportunities for the bacon. People miss 2 shots, but I think it's just a little bit more strategy because you don't really want to get in the bonus early because when you get in the bonus early, like you're automatically giving those teams 2 free foul shots. So, I mean, defensively you want to be a little smarter and you don't want to get in the bonus, but when you get in the bonus offensively, it's a good time to take advantage of it. So I think, again, pros and cons to it. It goes along with us just playing quarters now, though. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the only sport that doesn't play quarters is the men's college game. The pros and cons to having quarters as opposed to halves. I feel like for me, it's a better flow to the game.
I like quarters personally,
Yeah,
but of
yeah.
course I'm going to say that because that's what I play. But
Right.
they do have like longer, like they have those media timeouts, which kind of breaks it up. But I think it kind of just breaks up the game a little bit more. You know, teams go on a run, you get your quarter. So I think it's also easier we kind of break it up in like 5 minutes because of the medias, but it kind of just lets you, like you said, like a flow of the game. I feel like a half is 20 minutes straight is a really long time. But when you have it in quarters, I feel like you can break up the game a little bit more and have your, like those breaks set up, your like eyes set on those goals, like make mini goals to yourself and stuff. So I definitely like quarters.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's tough to think if you're transitioning from high school to college and you go from quarters to like halves. Like, I can't even imagine me, being in the line of work that we do. I'm just looking up. I'm like, wow, that's a long time. 20 minutes.
17 minutes on the clock. That's a long time.
Right, like, man, and you have the somewhat breaks in there. But again, I'm a fan of quarters. So maybe one day, they'll piggyback off of the women's game and actually move to quarters.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me. So
Well, even on Sunday, the first, how long did y'all run up and down the court for? Like 6 minutes before there was any kind of
Feel like a long
timeout?
time. Yeah, I think it was 6.
Yeah. What is the max amount of time that you feel like you're running back and forth and you're looking at coach going, can you call a freaking timeout because we're tired? Or do you think you guys could go the whole, I mean, I guess they'll call it eventually because they need to put a commercial in there, but.
I think the first quarter is always the hardest just because you have to get your first win, so that those few minutes seem a lot longer than per se if we're in the third or fourth quarter and you go 6 minutes without a break. But no, there's definitely times like most first quarters if it gets to that 6-7 minute mark and there's no media, we're all like, where's that media timeout?
Right.
No, we always know it's coming. The worst is when you get a really early media timeout and you have like on the back end like 7 or 8 minutes with no media timeout.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the first one, I think most of us are good, and I feel like you can speak on that for a lot of teams. But the first win, sometimes it's like 1 minute, and you're like, oh, that was only 1 minute, like dang. But once that second one comes, we're all good.
Yeah. Well, and if you're going up by 15 after a quarter, it's like, who cares?
You can definitely keep going now. You almost don't want to break. You almost don't want to meet.
Right.
You just want to keep it going.
Yeah. Well, speaking of going up big and, you're a guard, you're a 3-point shooter. The difference between the men's 3-point line and the women's 3-point line. Why do you think it's different? Because we now see the women's game. You guys are pulling up from far behind, not only your line, the men's line, and sometimes the logo.
Well, this year it's not different now.
Okay.
We do have the same line now. It moved. The men's line moved back a year before us. I've been here for 5. I can't remember what year it changed. So then there was 2 lines for 1 year, and then they moved ours back. Because, we were playing on courts with both lines anyway, so most of us were shooting. Like, when you're shooting, you don't necessarily, like, you see a line, so you kind of just get behind the line. So most women were shooting behind the men's line anyway, so they did change it. So we actually do have the same line now, which I think is just how it should be. It was only, like, a little bit of space, too, so.
Right.
I think having 2 lines is more confusing at the end of the day. Even for the men, just having 2 lines, both of us having 2 lines on the court, it's not like you're like staring at the line when you're running down. It's just kind of like your peripheral vision. So I'm glad they changed it to have it as the same line.
Yeah, we noticed that in the high school stuff this past week. They were pulling up from the college line, even though they had put the white tape.
You just see 2 lines, and you just go to the line. So
yeah, with that change, do you feel like that's kind of, I don't know, helped revolutionize the women's game even more so? Because it not only forced you to be able to just shoot from that far, but I feel like there's more confidence now to take shots from wherever it is on the court.
Mm-hmm. I think it also just made it a little bit separation, made a more distinction of like who's a shooter and not who's not a shooter. But I think when the line was closer, especially when I first got to college, because I think it was maybe the high school line when I first got to college, which you saw this weekend. Like it was a pretty big difference between the high school and college line. I think it makes a difference, especially for like 4s and 5s. Some of them would probably shoot more 3s if the line was still a little bit closer.
Yeah.
A lot of them have that like range out to like that high school 3-point line, but like that extra couple steps is a big difference. So I think it changed that to where like some people are no longer 3-point shooters, and even 3-point shooters, their percentages might be down a little bit more now that the line's farther, but I think it was a good part.
You caught what she said there at first, right? She was like, it differentiates who can. You can say who's good at it and who's not. Basically, who's Cayla King and who's not.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I was
it's
about
good.
to say,
it's a little
Kayla's
humble
like,
brag. It's
I
okay.
missed no beats there when they moved the line. I've just been chucking it up since I got here, so it's fine. And also, like you said, it does change the 4s and the 5s who could technically from the high school. I think of Liz doing the step back shot. Like if she was further enough back, when the line was there, it could be a 3.
Liz just chooses not to shoot. She can shoot. She chooses not to. Just wait. She'll be shooting some.
Oh, there's no question.
Just watch her in practice. She looks like a guard out there.
I feel like I've been waiting on that because we heard during like when you all first were available to us before the season, it was like, what's the one area that she wants to get different with? And she was like, I'm gonna start shooting.
She almost just doesn't. She just doesn't need to. She can score from anywhere she wants.
That's true.
Right.
You know, why force it when you don't have to do it, right?
Yeah. You can't guard her inside still, so.
Right, and plenty of time left to start throwing these wrinkles out for people to be like, well, how do we guard her now? Oh my gosh. And then they throw it to you. How do they guard? You guys are just so fun to watch. Well, that brings me to my next question. In terms of entertainment aspect, we hear a lot of folks who love college basketball and they love the men's game. Why do you feel like that is just more attractive to fans? And why is the women's game so much more entertaining? Because those of us who watch it know that it is.
I would say, I mean, personally, of course, a little bit of bias, but I just think more women's teams play the right way and like move the ball. We almost have to be, since we can't dunk, we can't do this, we can't do that. But I don't think that takes away from the excitement of the game. I think if you like at the end of the day sit down and watch it, like we move the ball crisp, we like defense is really good. I mean, if there's so much attention right now, like there's Juju Watkins, there's some crazy freshmen right now. There's Hannah. Of course, like Caitlin Clark's like getting close to having the actual all-time record now. So I don't think people actually watch when they say the women's game is not as exciting. I mean, it just goes to show we sell out Castle now and the crowd's insanely loud. So people are coming back now. So I think they're like realizing that like our games are exciting, they're fun. There's a lot of emotion into the game just as much as the men. We put just as much time. I think you can see that emotion in our game just as much as you can the men's. And I mean, there's just some real fundamental players and some really good teams that play the right way.
That's what I like about the women's game. I mean, whenever somebody wants to have this argument, I go, well, why do you think the men are better? Well, the men can dunk. Okay, and like there's nothing exciting about being so tall that you can dunk compared to being a shooter and making it, juking somebody and making an insane shot. Like, to me, in terms of the entertainment factor, being smooth and fundamental and finessed with it is more entertaining than a tall person who can get to the rim.
I agree.
I think we have both sides too. We have some flashy players too that you can watch. I mean, George is an example herself. She'll make someone fall, hit a step back three, and I think that's just as flashy as it is in the men's side.
Right.
So I mean, I think we have a little bit of both. And I mean, Ashlyn Watkins, I think her name is. She just dunked in the South Carolina game. So there you go.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, you're gonna see more and more of it, I think, as the game goes on. So I think women's is just as exciting, if not more.
Yeah, same.
Totally agree with that. We had another question. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the whole plus minus in the men's game. It pops up on the box score. It's just this guy's plus minus was that. What is that? Do you have any symbols of what that is, and then why can't we have that in the women's game as well?
I know it's on our score sheets after games.
Is it on your score sheets as
It's
well?
not on like ESPN.
Sure.
I don't think it's on our box score that we get. Is it, Carter? It is? Okay.
I know ours is on our box score, but it's pretty much just the plus minus is when you're in the game, what the score is for while you're in. So if I was in for 8 minutes and we outscored them by 8 in those 8 minutes, my plus is 8. And if the 4 minutes I was in that the other team outscored us by 4, I'll have -4. So it's kind of just like when your minutes that you're in, like what the score is. So if I'm in for 40 minutes and we win by 10, my plus will be 10. So it's
nice. It's kind of scary though, because then I guess coaches can nitpick like, oh, you had no effect on this game, but at the same time you could have 5 rebounds, but for them to go by points, that's scary.
It's nice, like you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, of course, there's like a lot of other things going on because like George is our point guard, so when she's out, of course, like the other team might go on like a little bit of a run. But there's always little other factors. But I mean, the plus minus does show that you're like when you're in how the team's doing. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's for coaches to look at. I don't know if necessarily it needs to be on like ESPN or things because I think it should be more for like the coaches and the staff. But yeah, pretty much that's what it is.
It's a little sneaky stat. I like that.
I had no idea, to be honest. I just would see it because we have some media members who will reference it. But to me, I'm just looking at the, metrics that make, points, rebounds, fouls.
So it's just like a little sneaky one that, sometimes your plus minus will be a lot greater than the rest of the team. And that's kind of like a nice thing. But yeah, I mean, if you win by a lot, everybody's plus will, of course, be high. And if you lose, like, everybody's will be kind of low. There might be 1 or 2 people that have a plus, which is, like, in a game like that, sometimes coaches like to see. But
okay. That's all the questions we have from the public. But, I mean, you're wrapping up your time in Blacksburg and in Castle. How do you feel like your game has developed over the past 5 years, and what have you taken and learned from this sport that you can apply, in these last couple games, and then, into real life?
I mean, just being a more confident player. I think from when I came in, I just kind of deferred a lot, and I mean, I'd say I'm definitely a role player, but I've embraced and accepted that, and I think every team needs that kind of player, and I'm happy to be that. I know we wouldn't be where we're at without someone doing like the little things, and I'm fine doing that. So I don't think everybody can be a Liz Kitley or Georgia Amore. Everybody wants to be that, but not everybody's built for that. I don't think people understand how hard it is to do what they do. They produce numbers every single night with everybody knowing exactly what they're going to do. Liz has 3 people on her and is still shooting 75% some games, which is insane. And not getting fouls on half the shots she's taking. So I don't think people realize how crazy it is what they do, and it's not easy. Like, someone's like, if I took that many shots, I could do that, and I don't think they realize that they can't. They can't do that, especially with the attention that they have on them. So I think teams will always have those 1 or 2 players, and then the other players need to find our role, and I think everybody on our team has done a good job at finding their role, which is why we're pretty hard to beat.
My favorite thing about your game is your clutch ability, and even though you're not dropping the points Liz and Georgia may be, you are doing the little things. What do you feel like has to happen on the floor by you that maybe doesn't show up on the box score, or like you said, people don't see because it's not immediately on Twitter from, a graphic or something?
I mean, I think our teams definitely are best when I do hit a couple shots just to spread the floor. Our better games this year have been when I've hit at least 2 or 3 threes, but so I'm working on that, just trying to be consistent in that aspect this year. But just defense, just being where I'm supposed to be at, making sure the passes are getting where they're needing to be, because Liz is a big part of our offense, so I have to make sure she gets the ball clean. Trying to help out on defense because, she's doing a majority of ball handling, which is extremely tiring. Again, I don't think people understand playing point guard with 2 people on your back for 40 minutes, exactly how tiring that is. And then to go out, she still has to guard some of the best players too. So just trying to take some of the pressure off her on defense and making sure our offenses are running smoothly and, just those little things.
Believe it or not, I know looks are deceiving, all right? I used to be somewhat of a sharpshooter like yourself. All right, you can't see it now. I get it. If you had to share though 1 or 2 tips in terms of like what goes into mastering that craft, what would you say those 1 or 2 biggest things you've learned throughout your career?
I mean, repetition and probably confidence. If you don't think it's going in, it's not going to go in. Doesn't matter who believes or who doesn't. So just getting in the gym and getting reps and game-like reps, not just shooting the shoot. Making sure you shoot someone you're tired, shoot someone people in your face, and shooting game-like shots. And then just, again, confidence. So I think that's, the main two keys I'll give.
Well, this is going to drop on Thursday, which is when you guys will you guys will start Friday of the ACC tournament. When is the championship? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Okay, so your first game will be Friday. So this will be right before. In terms of tips, like Eric was saying, how do you head into a stretch where you're playing 3 days, hopefully in a row, but a stretch of games where you do have to be confident and show up every game? You don't get a break in between.
I say just take it one game at a time. That's been our thing all year. Just we're right on board 1-0, just to focus on the game. If you start thinking about Sunday's game on Friday, that's when you are going to be on the bus going home, because every team there, the ACC is a tough conference. I think the toughest. So anyone can win on any given night. So the tournament is a time for people to prove that. And teams who may not have had a chance at winning regular season now have a chance to win a title. So it's fair game. That's what the point of the tournament is. So just taking it one game at a time and not looking too far ahead, even taking it a quarter at a time. So sometimes we'll literally say there's 12 quarters. Let's win the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
One game at a time.
And doing it in Greensboro, going home, that's got to feel good.
No, it is, yeah. It was great last year. We had a great turnout. I'm sure this year there'll be even more Hokie fans there. They've been traveling really well this year, so I'm excited to see how many people are there wearing maroon and orange.
Awesome. You ready for a little game?
Sure.
Yes, indeed. We'll take you off the hot seat a little bit, and then we'll put you right back on it. How about that? So we call this fact or foul. It's kind of like true or false, all right? So fact or foul, Asia Shepherd holds the record for most made threes in a game.
Foul. Sorry, Chef. You gotta set me up on that one.
We had to put that one in there.
Yeah, come on. We're talking to the person who holds that record, all right? Do you remember how many it is, by the way?
Yeah, 9.
Okay, cool. Nah,
Cayla, you're so humble. You're so sweet.
Yeah, no, it was awesome to be, to witness that. I just remember last year, super early season, might have been first game of the season. And when you came back to the bench and everybody was just, and they were going crazy. So, we couldn't get you on that one. You're 1 for 1.
Okay. This one might be a little harder. Coach Brooks never eclipsed the 1,000 point mark in his college career at JMU.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say he did get 1,000 points, just because that's my coach and I believe in him. But
That's really sweet of you to believe. Foul. He had a little bit over 600, but he only played 100 or so games, so not as many games.
I'll say if he had a fifth year, he definitely would have got it. So,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was
I'm
a
team
point
Cook
guard.
so no.
And basketball was different back then. So, right?
Yeah.
We'll just keep making
They had a 3-point line.
big excuses
I'm
for
sorry.
him.
Coach, you're not that old. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
What'd
sorry.
you say they didn't have a 3-point line?
It's all right. We don't go that far
we're
back.
never gonna get asked to come back again.
He knows I'm kidding. He'll beat me any day.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see if you get this one here. Caitlin Clark has scored more than 40 points twice in the same NCAA tournament game. Fact or foul?
Like in the same tournament.
Yeah, within the same tournament. Yeah,
And she was the only one. Sorry, this is a very specific question.
and
the
she's
only one who
the
has
only
ever done
one
it.
to ever score more than 40 points twice in the same NCAA tournament.
I wouldn't be surprised with her. I'm gonna just say fact.
Oh yeah,
All right.
I initially did too. It is foul. It is foul.
So it's just another person.
There's another.
Do you know who it was?
It's taking it back a little bit though, so it's okay.
Female.
Female.
Oh yeah, all ladies.
I'm not sure.
It was Candace Wiggins, 2008, Stanford. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. 40.
40-point games is impressive. So whoever, props to anybody who's ever done that.
In the NCAA tournament, that's nuts.
I know Liz has had the one, but I would have said she got two if we would have moved on. But
Right. Yeah. No, I should have looked up to see if Stanford won the tournament that year.
I'm pretty
Two
sure they did.
Yeah.
In
2008.
If not, they got probably pretty close that year.
you
Pretty
guys are
deep
going
one.
the depths here for these questions.
Well, that was it.
No,
That was
not
all.
bad, though.
Yeah,
Not
you
bad,
got
I was
We gave you an
one
easy
for
one.
three.
Yeah, we
One for
started
three,
with
that was
easy,
pretty bad,
and
but
then
it's okay.
No, 1 for 3 is that's 30%. That's still better
shoot,
than
I'll take it. I'll
Shoot or
zero.
shoot, right?
Yeah, right. You miss every shot you don't take, Cayla. Not to put some basketball knowledge on you, but it's true. You did it.
Thank you.
Good job. Well, that wraps up everything that we've got. Unless you
Yeah,
have any
yeah.
questions for us.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
guys.
Yeah, don't ask for my stats, by the way. We don't need to go that.
Yeah,
we don't
we'll
need to go down
find
that rabbit
them
hole.
one day.
Well, good luck to you. Rest of this
Yeah,
week. I know you
good
got
luck.
Notre Dame coming up Thursday night, right? Feeling loose, feeling good for that.
Yep. One game at a time.
One game at a time. Excited.
I like it.
Well, thanks so much, Cayla, for your time. Good luck
Thank
as you
you.
close the regular season and head into the post.
Thank you, guys.
Oh boy, there's a lot going on there. She did her thing though, right?
She's so awesome. I just love how she's so smart and she's very. I don't think she's very quiet, but she is quieter, like a quieter personality than some of the other girls on the team. But
Yeah.
I mean, she is so smart.
She speaks when she needs to, and when she speaks, it's important. So that's how sharpshooters are. Though,
Yeah, she's a
you know?
great leader, smart, good person, good family.
Yeah, knows her way around the court. And again, I love the fact how earlier in the season, when she had to kind of take the point when Georgia got hurt, people were like, "She can run. She can play point guard. Oh my God!" And she's like, "Yeah."
She basically installed this system for coaches. She showed
Right.
Georgia how to do it.
Yeah, this is no shock. I mean, it's like Liz said, she's been my point guard since what? They played together since I think middle school or high
Yeah.
school. Like, why is this a shock? But yeah, great joy having her on. I would love to see a 3-point competition. I really would, between her and Coach Brooks, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But anyways,
I
that
would
would be
actually
cool to see.
enjoy seeing that.
Yeah. And I tell you what, give me a rack of like just 3 balls and then maybe I'd have a shot, right? If you throw me, okay, maybe not. Okay.
What?
You think I'd have a shot? Like,
Against Cayla?
no, me, Cayla, and Coach Brooks. How about that?
Your shot
Let's
would
go.
be brick?
No. Oh, really? I've been working out. Like, what are
Yeah,
you saying?
but you know what?
My game is.
Let's cue it up. Postseason. Coach Brooks, Cayla, and Eric.
Yeah.
3-point.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Eric.
No.
Do you even play basketball? I've literally
What?
never seen you play basketball.
Oh,
Where do you
wow.
hoop? Where do you go?
Yeah. I hoop.
The Greenridge?
No. Just local parks around the city.
Lakin's basketball? Little tiny plastic basketball hoop? And
No. Oh, that's cute. No.
local parks around the city?
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
You're messing with me
really?
right now.
No, seriously, I'm not. No. I hoop. She thinks I'm playing. Oh my gosh. Look, listen, you know what you're gonna make me do? You can maybe go to my desk and get the stats from my rec league, and I'll show you.
Stop! You play on a rec league?
Yeah.
With what time?
What do you think I've been a
work
man
at
my whole
night.
life? As a kid, I played rec league.
Oh,
and so
not as an adult.
no,
You don't
no.
play any basketball now.
Like pickup, but not like
Where?
full length games.
Where are
I don't
you
play. No,
playing
listen,
pickup
listen.
basketball?
I shoot the hoop. That's it. I don't. I do a little practice.
You don't
2,
play
3 times a
defense?
week. No, who needs a defense? Like no.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna pull up one of these days.
I just blew her mind. She can't believe this.
When I need a play for the 11 o'clock news when I'm anchoring, I'm
Yeah.
pulling up and I'm gonna videotape
Facts.
you playing.
Facts. I got a shot. Like I was a 3-point specialist. Why do you think I asked Cayla so much?
Why are you calling it a specialist?
No. I say specialist because that's all I did. I stood in my spot. And then the guy on my team, shout out to Miles Poindexter, by the way. We were like Kobe and Shaq.
What? How old were you?
Oh, man. We were like 10, 11, 12. From like the age of 8 up to 12. Yeah.
Eric, that's
I
like
was-
almost 20 years
Oh,
ago.
excuse me. Whoa. But I was headband guy, like people call me Charles Barkley. Like, yeah. Like,
What happened? Why'd you quit?
so what happened was it was my last year of rec eligibility. And I realized, you like the official terms, right? She's having so much fun with these. Listen, my last year of rec league, all right?
Okay.
I played, and then after that, you got to go to middle school ball. I saw that I wasn't as tall as a lot of those guys, and I was like, I'm not going to fare good. So I said, well, and I don't want to do this when I get older, so let me start talking about sports and recording sports. And kind of led me to where I am, and then that's when I quit.
Aww.
So, yeah. But don't...
Short guys can ball. Short guys are great shooters. You should have stuck with the dream.
but-
Charles.
Charles. No, listen. Yeah,
Or should
don't-
I say Bimbo Coles?
Oh, yeah, he was a good one too. But don't let this fool you now. Like I had it together back in the day. So
And you think
you
you
know.
could go head to head with Coach Brooks
listen,
and Cayla?
not a full rack of balls. Give me 3 balls. I can
Just
make
3?
at least 2 out of 3. So they're gonna miss 1 too. So if I make 2, then we gotta go to like 1 shot sudden death, and then that's when they beat me. But I'm saying I could hang. I could hang with them. You know,
3-point contests are like 2 minutes long.
yeah. But see, I don't need like a whole rack of balls around the whole arc. I only got 1 spot from the wing. So
Okay.
I'm handicapped in that way. Like I can't go top of the key. Really.
Well, maybe they'll listen to this and invite you out to the practice facility.
I kind of doubt it, but Cayla didn't take me seriously either, so it's all good. It's okay. It's okay. If we had iPhones back then, I promise y'all would be like, okay, Eric was.
If we
Eric
had
was a baller.
iPhones back then.
Yeah, shout out to Mom. She kept the records though, so she kept stats. I dropped 19.
It's giving,
I dropped 19 in one game. So anyways.
the guy who is like trying to impress you and is like, I could have gone D1 for lacrosse, but I tore my ACL junior year, so they pulled their offers.
No, definitely not me because, like I said, I didn't even go past middle school ball, so I rarely even bring up
You
my
didn't even
basketball
want to try
career.
out for the team? You rarely bring up your basketball career?
I do. I really don't bring this. Listen, how did this pivot to me?
I don't know because you said
man.
you said you would beat Cayla King, Coach Brooks in a 3-point contest.
I said I'd hang
for 3 shots.
3 shots. They make 2 out of 3. I could too. Yeah.
We got to get to a court. Okay, when we go to the NCAA tournament, when they do shoot around and then they
Ooh.
like have the little time in between or like an empty court, I need to see it. I don't care if the security comes out and says y'all need to leave. I need to see it.
So you're willing to get kicked out of the NCAA tournament
100%.
just to see me shoot? We can go to the local park now.
Okay, well, what local park? Where do people hoop? Garce Mill?
Oh, everywhere. Like people hoop everywhere. Like what are you talking about?
I actually did learn to play basketball over on the little basketball court. I was
Little basketball court, by the
21
way.
years old, by the way.
Cool.
Over by Raleigh Court. You know what I'm talking about? It's like where Brambleton and Brandon intersect.
I do. Yeah. That's where I hoop. a lot of times.
Stop.
They get a little
Really?
practice in. Yeah, it's like Lake Spring Park or something like that. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what it's called.
Yeah, it's like some kind of little weird
Well, they
lake
got
back
two
there.
two basketball
Two
goals,
hoops.
so
Yeah, it's a full court.
you can play. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how we got here, but anyways, Cayla taught us a lot. Just like you would like to school them as well.
No, I don't want to school them, but no, it is nice talking to someone who competes at a very high level and is very good at what she does, night in and night out. So can't go wrong with that.
Was there anything she said that surprised you?
Well, first of all, I thought the 3-point line that was the first. I thought it was
A
different.
little bit closer.
Yeah,
Me
but
too.
apparently it's the same now. So no wonder like shooters are really shooting in the women's game, and I think that's why we saw Sabrina Ionescu go head to head with Steph Curry. Like now we see why. Like she's a baller anyway, but we see why she was splashing as much as she was because their line is the same.
Yeah, same distance.
Yeah, and like that took me by surprise. I don't know why I thought it was still up a little bit, but
I did too.
Yeah.
I also think shooting the high school didn't help because
Oh,
we had
for
just
sure.
shot high school right before we talked
yeah,
to
that
her.
kind of
and-
messed up our visuals there a little bit.
Yeah. No, I had no idea. So that was interesting. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
And also it saves a paint job for the
True
court too.
True that. Keep
But
it
yeah.
pristine.
I'm really looking forward to seeing their run. I mean, they're definitely going to the NCAA tournament, but
For sure.
she said we got to take it one game at a time. We can't look too far, and they got to get through the ACC tournament first.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
like you
what
said,
are-
a lot of sneaky teams. so.
And the ACC is just so messy. I mean,
is.
but messy in like not in like a chaotic way. Like
No.
20. What year was that? 2022 ACC football messy. It's messy in the way that everyone is really good
Yeah, in a very competitive way.
and very
Yeah.
competitive. And any given night, like
Men's and women's side too, by the way.
Yeah.
It's looking real interesting. So I don't know what to or like how to plan these next couple weeks because it's like I maybe
I know you got to
in the
book
city
hotels.
here, but-
I'm just staying with mom and dad.
no. Well, I got one booked already. So Richmond, here I come
Oh yeah.
for high school state finals, which will start tonight. If you're hearing this on the day this drops, so
Aw.
Yeah.
Man, this
Boom,
is such a
boom.
fun time of year.
it is, and of course, still in it, Coach Pope. How about
Coach
it?
Pope, I know.
They're going for back-to-back this weekend.
We have the magic touch of success.
Ooh, I like that.
Instead of being successful ourselves, we just touch everyone with it.
yeah, I like it. Everything we touch turns to gold.
Yeah. We just,
Boom.
well, I guess, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I might not have had basketball success, but you clearly did. So,
That's very nice. But no, I'm nothing. All right, I had no basketball career. For the record, just put that out there. All right, rec league don't count. All right, so yeah.
it counts in your heart and in your
In my
mom's heart.
my mom's heart. Well, I'm pretty sure mom don't care either.
She said, I'm just glad I don't have to go sit through those games anymore.
Thanks, mom. Thanks. No. That was a fun time in life, and I think you never lose your shot totally. So, but I think that's why if I
We'll
walk up
see.
to a court, then I can hit a couple. Listen, okay, you keep questioning me now. I feel like I'm gonna have to do it sooner rather than later. I'm gonna splash some
How about
3-pointers.
today at UVA after the game's over when we're out on the court doing live shots?
Yeah, I don't have a ball with me, so
Well, they have actually a ton of them at the basketball game.
yeah.
I'm gonna make you do it. Where
the-
do you have on tennis shoes? Oh, you do. Okay, yeah. Don't put dress shoes on.
Now I'll put the judges on. Let me get the Stacy's back out. Listen, no, we don't need to do it in a big arena though. We got to come to my usual confines.
What?
So okay.
We gotta go to the park? No. Okay, we're
Either a
ending
park
this.
or a middle school.
We're ending this. All right, coming up in 2 weeks on Foul Check, we are highlighting wrestling.
Yeah.
Send us your wrestling questions at Foul Check Pod on Twitter, foulcheckpod at WSLS.com.
Yes.
And we look forward to a very great conversation with a great head coach of a
Yes.
winning wrestling squad.
Yes. And for the record, technical wrestling, not like entertainment wrestling you see on television.
Oh yeah,
We're
we're talking high school,
yeah,
college.
We're talking singlets. Still looking good, but singlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, rules. not fashion. Okay.
Yeah, just good old wrestling. But yeah, stay tuned for that a couple weeks, and we'll let the March Madness begin. Otherwise,
All right, let's get it.